I just got so swept away with that. Thank you. I know, right? Just think that we're all of that, and we get to choose what we want to express. And I love Dr. Peggy's quote, Reverend Dr. Peggy's quote, because when she sent it to me yesterday, on the day you were born, you were given the power to create yourself. And there you are, all those things that we are. And like I said, we get to choose which ones we want to express. When we're born, Spirit, through us, is expressing itself. We're each, as we know, an individual expression of that divine, of God, of light, of love, and all of that. And we get to choose. So I don't think I always knew that throughout my life. Maybe many of us can identify with that we didn't really know that we got to choose. We kind of got swept away by whatever experience that we were in. And I know for myself, I went a lot by my gut, like, oh, I want to do this now, I want to do that now, and things led me down different roads. I'm in the process of writing a book about my life right now, and it's called My Sacred Journey. And as I look back, I see that I was making choices, but I didn't realize I was making them. And I think that's what we're learning now, is that we can make conscious choices and that they do matter. We can make conscious choices. So when I lived in New Mexico for a long time, and right before I met Patrick, I was at a point in my life where it was like I knew something was happening, but I didn't know what it was. I was like lost. I was kind of, my kids were moved out of the house, and I remember sitting on this big staircase and just kind of like a lot of sadness in my heart, not knowing what was next for me. And I knew that I wanted to express and that I was creative, but I just didn't know where to put my energy. And I didn't have this teaching, and like I said, I didn't know that I could make these conscious choices. And then I got swept away by this guy, and in a beautiful way. And oh, bless the sirens and whatever's happening there. And I got swept away by him, and our life unfolded. And then when I found the Science of Mind and Spirit, I realized that I was at choice. And I was able to look back at everything that I had done in my life and see that really clearly. And the beautiful thing is that the talk title today is It's Your Birthday. Meaning celebrating Patrick, but celebrating each of us. Because like the quote says, on the day you were born, you were given the power to create yourself. Well, that's true. And it's also true that in every moment, you're given the power to create yourself over and over and over again. And that nothing stays the same. And one of the things we're learning now for sure during this time is that nothing stays the same. And that we have to be able to embrace change and create ourselves anew in every moment. We don't know, really, this has been the gift, I feel, of the pandemic, is that we don't know what's next. We move, and we have to make conscious choices of how we're going to respond to everything that's going on. And it's change. And if we're not comfortable with change, we have to get comfortable with it, because this is our evolution right now, is to be able to be resilient, to be able to be, I don't like using the word adaptable. I like resilient better, because we get to meet our challenges and ride through them and be resilient and make choices that work for us and work for the whole, and just live in love. And that's our choice every single solitary day. And that's why our birthday, that choice is there for us every single solitary day. So, Ernest Holmes wrote, we can change the direction of the wheel of causation anytime we decide to do so. So if we're at a point in our life where we're not necessarily happy with what's going on, or we're not necessarily, we want more to our life, because spirit is always wanting more, that's what it's doing. We are creative, we're expressing. We get to change the wheel of causation. So we don't really believe in like karma in that sense that you're stuck with it. Like you did something in a past life and now you're stuck with whatever that was now. We know that in every single solitary moment, whatever causation that we have set, we can change it by thinking anew. But it's not just like about thinking, it's about feeling. And we're studying this book by Greg Braden called The Secrets of the Lost Mode of Prayer right now. And this last week we talked about feeling, because all our ancient elders and goddesses and all the people from the past are screaming out saying, that's why I love that song, screaming out saying, you can choose. Prayer is feeling. And prayer, we're praying in every single solitary moment when we're thinking. We're just praying in every single solitary moment, and it's coming from feeling. And we have unlimited possibilities. And I love the idea of the observer effect, and I'm not totally going to give you a science lesson because I couldn't do that if I wanted to, but the observer effect, as it's stated in quantum mechanics, which indicates that the quantum wave function collapses when an observation is made by an observer. So if you really think, we were looking at the flowers on the table at our house, and I go, Patrick, do you realize that that's just waves of energy? And because we're looking at it, it's flowers. And I don't know how that works with the brain and all of that, but that's really miraculous, right? When you think about it, that everything, it gives me goosebumps because I know that everything is energy, and everything, and we're energy, and everything we're looking at is energy, and it's collapsing into form by us looking at it. And that's why different people can look at the same thing and see it differently, because we're looking from our perception, perspective, what we believe something to be. So that's really powerful. I mean, we can look at this whole thing that we're going through right now, and we can choose how we're going to experience it. We get to choose that. We might not be able to choose all the rules and all the things that, that the higher ups are saying and all of that. We might have to, do what we have to do, but we get to choose how we're going to observe it. We get to choose how we're going to create it. We get to choose how we want it to outpicture. I think that we spend a lot of time, at least from what I hear, people saying, focused on what's not happening and focused on the horrible things that could happen, instead of focusing on how we want to observe it, how we want to see it, how we want to create it. In this book that Greg Braden wrote, he talks. He's really into ancient cultures and ancient civilization, and he lives in New Mexico, so he's a great part of the Navajo and the Hopi and all of that that culture there. And he tells a story about an elder that he was with that was able to feel the rain and therefore create the rain and the drought by feeling it. And he said, through our thanks, we honor all possibilities while bringing the ones we choose to the world. This is really powerful. If you think about it, instead of rejecting everything and calling it bad and calling it this and calling it that, what if we were to give thanks for all the possibilities that there are in this moment, energy, give thanks for it all, and then choose the one we want. But not with negativity, pushing out everything. Instead, just embracing it all and realize it's all possibilities, and we get to choose the one we want to experience. I know for myself that this is true. I know because I've experienced it. And I know I can choose how I look at something. I can choose my day and decide how that day is going to look. And then if I'm confronted with something, I can look again and say, what do I really know, Rita, about this? And what do I choose right here and right now? And Ernest Holmes wrote, nothing moves but our mind, and we are dealing with mind that is the mover and the creator, the cause of all that is or is to be. We should sense that back of the word which we speak is the power of the universe surging to express itself. Then speak the word consciously, knowing it is law. So what is our word? It's not just what we say. We say a lot of things, but what are we feeling? What's underneath the word? That's really our word. So when you walk into a room, sometimes you can feel the energy and nobody's saying anything. That's the word. And sometimes the word is going willy-nilly. Nobody's making any decisions, or they're just reacting. Or we can go, this is my word, and get into it and really step into it and really live it and really state it. Emma Curtis Hopkins says, I think it, I write it, I speak it, I write it, I live it. And if you don't know who Emma was, she was a great mystic in the early 1900s, early 1900s, and was a healer and healed many people through spiritual mind healing. And she said, I think it, I speak it, I act it, or I write it, and then I live it. So that's powerful. You think it, then you don't have to write it necessarily, but I like to write because I'm a writer, and she was a writer too. But the most important part is that you think it and you speak it and you live it. So what are we living right now? That's what I want to know. What are we each living? What are we projecting out into the field? What is our word? And the way we can know what our word is by what? What we see. We can know what we believe by what we see. We're each having an experience. And it's wonderful because that's the way the universe works. It's a mirror. Life is a mirror. The energy field is a mirror. And it's reflecting back to us. Ernest Holmes says this, life is a mirror and reflects back to us what the thinker thinks into it. So if you want to know what you believe, just look out. Look at your life. And the most powerful thing about this teaching, for me, is that I get to choose and I get to take full responsibility. I get to take full responsibility of everything I did before I found the science of mind and spirit and see all the choices I made and where they led me and how I paid the price for some of them, how I rejoiced in some of them. It was all just my responsibility. And once I take responsibility for my life, oh my God, there's so many possibilities. And so I got to take responsibility for the good stuff and the not so good stuff and stop labeling it, because everything in life is bringing us back to ourself. Every single solitary thing, even when we don't know it consciously, is bringing us back to ourself. So I was going to say something else about that, but it went like this. So I won't worry about it. But if I had any message today about it being your birthday, and Patrick has this tradition, and he taught it to me because I didn't think much of birthdays when I met him. I just celebrated them. He bought me the whole Pooh family. On every birthday, bought me a different Pooh. They're on the mainland somewhere, but right now. But birthday was important to him, and he said it was our like our New Year's, and we get to set the intention for what we want our life to look like. And then at the end of the day, he would go, well, what was your day like? What do you feel like your New Year is going to be from what you experienced today? And I'd go this or that or some feeling I had, and it would always, and then I'd take what I wanted, and because we know, like I said, it's the wheel of causation. We get to turn it in every single solitary moment. I would take what I wanted and leave what I didn't want behind and move forward into my year. But we get to do that in every single solitary moment. We don't have to wait for our birthdays, right? So, the infinite. So think about what you want for your life. Really think about it and think about where you want to go, because to this time in our evolution, it's very important that we're all thinking straight with love. Not straight, with love. That we're all thinking with love. Forget about that. We're thinking with love. That's what we're thinking with. We're thinking with love. We're thinking with passion. We're following our passions and our dreams. We're following what life is speaking to us, through us, as us, because we're all unique. And Dr. Holmes says, the infinite fills all molds and forever flows into newer and greater ones. Within us is the unborn possibility of limitless experiences, and ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. I'm going to read it one more time. The infinite spirit, the universe, fills all molds, and that's not molds in the house. Those are the molds. Those are the molds that we create with our minds and our intentions. Those are the molds. We create molds with our thinking and our feeling, right? The infinite fills all molds and forever flows into new and greater ones. Any moment, greater and newer. Within us is born the possibility of limitless experience. Ours is the privilege to give birth to it. So, today is your birthday. So let's give birth to some really, really amazing, loving, beautiful, passionate ideas that we have for this universe and for ourselves. Namaste. Namaste.